that instruction without direction leads to dysfunction. You can have the right instruction but go the wrong direction. Strongholds will keep us in places because we become so comfortable believing the lie, believing the thought, believing the opinion, believing these things that the enemy does to build fortresses and real estate here in our mind. My vision might be blurred as I'm leaving a dark season, a dark moment, a dark cave, but I need to stay in a place to heal, to recover and then get ready so it's time to be sent out. In 1 Samuel chapter 22, I'm going to read this. I'm going to read a few verses and then we'll close out on these keys on how to be able to break strongholds. First Samuel 22 verse 1, David therefore departed from there and escaped to the cave of Adullam. So when his brothers and all his father's house heard it, they went down there to him. And everyone who was in distress, everyone who was in debt, and everyone who was discontented gathered to him. So he became a captain over them, and there were about 400 men with him. Then David went from there to Mizpah of Moab, and he said to the king of Moab, please, let my father and mother come here with you till I know that God will do for me. So he brought them before the king of Moab, and they dwelt with him all the time that David was in the stronghold. Now the prophet Gad said to David, do not stay in the stronghold, depart, and go to the land of Judah. So David departed and went into the forest of Hereth. This is so good, y'all. David is hiding in a cave. And the people that he's hiding in a cave with kind of reminds me of Lazarus coming out of this dark tomb, and he was in there for 4 days. This cave that David was in with the people that he became a leader over, they all had dysfunction in common. What was that dysfunction? It says here, everyone who is in distress, everyone who is in debt, and everyone who is discontented. They gathered in this cave. And what's interesting is sometimes we might feel like we're in a dark place. Being in dark places or dark seasons or dark moments is not bad. But when we continue to dwell there for too long, we become so comfortable in a place of hiding from challenges, hiding from God's calling, hiding from the things that the Lord has called us for. Y'all getting this? Y'all tracking with me? There's a bunch of dysfunction that I'm connected with all these people that are in this cave that are in distress, in debt, discontented. And I'm leading a bunch of dysfunctional people that have gathered in this cave with me because we're hiding. Cave seasons are not bad, but the same cycle in a new season, cycles need to break. Cycles need to break. Seasons we endure, and we want seasons we have to endure, but we also got to break through seasons. Demonic cycles, we got to break. Y'all tracking? I know we're talking about strongholds, but really, I want us to know. And this is so interesting because once they left the cave, David was in a stronghold. Verse 4, so he brought them before the king of Moab, and they dwelt with him all the time that David was in the stronghold. They were in a stronghold, okay? So how interesting is this? We're talking about strongholds. Now, he goes to this place that is connected to Moab. If you guys didn't know, his great-grandmother was who? Ruth. Ruth was a Moabitess. So David got access from a bloodline from the Moabites, right? Because of the bloodline that he got access to. So your bloodline will give you access to places and spaces because of who you're connected to. This is why we have to be able to be set free, to be healed, to be renewed and restored and rebuilt. Why? Because the bloodline is what the enemy wants. But our bloodline also gives us access to things that will later build us up, help us, heal us, and gives us access to things that we would never given access to. I want to be able to birth a generation that is free from generational curses, but also because of the bloodline that I'm flowing through, I want them to get favor and divine access because of the blessing I became during the lifetime of my life. Whew. Y'all tracking with me on this? Verse 5. Now the prophet Gad. Now Gad is a prophet that was under the school of ministry of Prophet Samuel. Prophet Samuel during the time of David and King Saul, right? This is a man of God. Prophet Gad. Prophets, they point. Prophets, they instruct. Okay, real prophets, they don't speak your heart back to you. They speak God's heart to you. And sometimes that's correction. Sometimes it might not be a message or a word we might not want to hear. As long as it's God, this is a real prophet. These are real men, women of God. So David said, do not stay in the stronghold, depart and go to the land of Judah. So David departed and went to the forest of Hereth. So we got to really listen, and we need guidance and instruction from real men, women of God. He's like, hey, don't stay in this stronghold too long. You just came out of a cave season. You just came out of a dark season. There's sometimes we become comfortable because, yes, we got out of something, but we only have a specific amount of time to stay, and then our assignment. There's a saying that instruction without direction leads to dysfunction. You can have the right instruction, but go the wrong direction. That is dysfunction. It'll lead you right back to caves when you're called to go out there and take dominion, take territory out there, wherever God has assigned you. Strongholds will keep us in places because we become so comfortable believing the lie, believing the thought, believing the opinion, believing these things that the enemy does to build fortresses and real estate here in our mind. This is so good, y'all. This is so good. I just want to share this because you can't be in a dark season for too long. But when you come out of that cave, think about this. When you come out of a dark place, your eyes are blurry just a little bit for a moment, for a season. So you have to go through this season of knowing what it means to see in light. And that also happens with us spiritually when we have become traumatized, hurt, okay? We have become broken. And some of us, we complain about the pieces that the master gave us instead of praising him about the masterpiece that he has created within us. The he that is within me that is greater than he who is within this world. Let God's original design of what he created and birthed you for, the promises of a future and a hope, not to harm you, but to prosper you. Okay, these are the promises of God. So we have to go back to that original design because the enemy has tried to build dysfunction into us to get us to believe a lie when God's truth, his promise, is greater than what we can ever ask, think, or imagine. And we can do things exceedingly abundantly above all that we can ask, think, or imagine, according to what? The power that works inside of us. But we got to go through healing. We got to go through recovery seasons where, yes, my vision might be blurred as I'm leaving a dark season, a dark moment, a dark cave. But I need to stay in a place to heal, to recover, and then get ready so it's time to be sent out. This is so good, y'all. Hey, family. God bless you. Thanks for watching until the end. That was just a clip from our podcast. So we do full-on podcasts. We have a full-on podcast channel. It's called Simply Uncaged. If you want more information and you want to see that exact episode, more of it, link is in the description below. Look forward to serving y'all. We actually run a physical Christian store out here in Las Vegas since 2018. So it's been a journey, family. Go ahead if you guys want to support that, or if you're ever in Las Vegas, come through. I love y'all. God bless you. See you in the next video in Jesus' name.